I think I want to ask, when you make a video, do you create the thumbnail and title before everything else?
Yes.
Why?
It comes back to the fact that, you know, we're running a business. Every video is an investment. And when you think about the box that we need to check when it comes to, is this going to reach a wide enough audience for us to at least break even on the video? If you have a amazing video idea, but you're not able to communicate it very clearly to the point where someone could have a like 0.2 second glance at the thumbnail at the very least, and they don't know what that video is about, then unfortunately they don't have you as the creator don't have the key to bring them into this great video. Yeah. So for that reason, if that is one of the first things we always think about. And in the past we have just made videos and then thought about the title and thumbnail later, but I think that
it doesn't perform as well.
Yeah, more often than not, especially if it's more of an intricate idea that takes a little more, you know, brain power. And if we end up, and I'm thinking about a situation like about maybe a year and a half ago where we make the whole video and then we're rushing to get out the title and thumbnail. It's a tough situation because it doesn't align with the creator's goals really in that case, because, you know, they also, you know, want to, you know, they put in all this time and effort into a video, and the other side of that is, you know, they want to make sure that that video can have as big of an impact proportionally to the energy and the effort and the love that they put into creating it in the first place.
Yeah. The fastest growing podcast in the world right now is called Diary of a CEO. I don't know have you seen it?
Yes.
It's a great podcast. It's probably my favorite podcast at the moment. I really love it. And they are so dedicated to, they think about podcasting exactly how you think about YouTube, even extremer. I know something they do is they will create titles and thumbnails, run Facebook ads on them before the podcast comes out, and then based on what title and thumbnail perform the best, he will incorporate those as talking topics into the podcast because he knows what people are most interested in. And then, so he already knows what title and thumbnail will perform the best because he's running ads on them before the podcast doesn't even exist. And then he takes the topics and titles people are most excited about and he talks about them, but it doesn't feel fake. Like, because I'm explaining this and I'm like, dude, especially from a soul wealth perspective, it feels like that could come out fake, but I don't know, the way they do it just feels so elegant and real and it performs the best. And that's something I'm trying to do as well, is like, and I think like so much of this comes back to my ego and pride, but it's like, maybe even that's a good thing for me to do as a podcaster is like, like, let's take you, for example. I know, and I didn't do this, but maybe I should have. It's like, I know you're a YouTube expert. I know you know a lot about like YouTube knowledge, about fitness videos, and maybe I think about all those things. I'm like, what would I be the most interested if I clicked on you? And it's not like forcing a conversation, but maybe that's the first talking point, and I make the title and thumbnail. And so that if someone clicks on the title and thumbnail, they get what they clicked for in the first talking point, and then I'm making the talking point about you. It's based off of you, so it should be something you like. And then the conversation goes wherever from there. And a viewer of a podcast, someone who watches a podcast doesn't watch it the same way as a YouTube video. They're not expecting to have the flashy cuts so it's like, maybe the podcast goes wherever from there. And if it's a good conversation, they'll stay. But thinking, I like that analogy you have of like the key and the unlocked door I could be sitting out here for 2 hours having a conversation and I'm happy to do that. And I always think from the perspective of like successful before the post button, which is like, if we create a relationship and we have a good time, then that is a success. But also just like, if I really think this is valuable for the world, then I want the most amount of people to see it and how to think there first. And I really think this podcast came at such a perfect time for me, because over the past couple of weeks, I've just had this revelation of like, it's okay to like think forward, and you're like the perfect person to talk to and like really divulge into that message.